All right, hello friends. Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. Hello. Hello, hello. Funzy, hello. Frank the Third, hello. How's it going? ODM, what's buing, burs? Hello, buh. Chillgam, hello. Jello, Boomerangaroo, hi. Keeper, hello. Evening, or afternoon, evening. Same. How's it going? How are y'all doing? I can tell by the backdrop that I haven't been here in a while. Yeah, backdrop, messy apartment, which I know it's been a few weeks now, and I really should be organizing all this stuff, but here we are. Is that Aldi I see? Goat? Yeah, Aldi bag. Just a tote. Alright, folks. Well, hope you are all doing well. So today's build should be fairly straightforward. It's actually a client build. So, you know, a little bit of a backstory. Is that, you know, this is a TKL commission. It was actually originally not commissioned through me or anything. It just came to me to build. I didn't know, first of all, that Eniigma from, you know, Eniigma Keyboards, who designed a few other boards, like the Infinitum TKL and a few other things, that they were relatively close to me. And so, you know, they reached out to me a few weeks back, and were basically like, oh, can you build this keyboard for me, for a client? Basically someone who, you know, had this TKL, it's like a one-off design, I think. It's like based, I assume, on some of their other previous designs, but you know, the basis is there. But basically, can you build this board for me and for this client of mine? And I was like, yeah, sure. And so it turns out that initially this was going to go to Alex Otos, to build. But basically, bottom line was that the like sending of the board got complicated with this whole tariffs and customs and all this sort of situation happening, and so it kind of came back to the US. And since I'm fairly close to Eniigma location wise, we met up and was like, you know, here's the board and let's get it built. And so I actually had to wait for these switches to come in. These are some Turquoise Tealios that Alex, I believe, lubed. So these are, you know, Gateron ZLPC Turquoise Tealios that he lubed for this build. And so here we are. Where Kiwi? Kiwi sleeping. Kiwi sleeping. Kiwi... Oh, Kiwi's on the couch. Kiwi's just chilling on the couch. Oh, hi Soran. How's it going? Hi Conan. Does this Eniigma person happen to like high-end fashion? I don't know. I'm not too super aware of their hobbies outside of stuff. You know, we're only barely acquainted, so I personally don't really know. Anyway, so yeah, they reached out and were like, can you build this? And so we finally got all the parts together. I think the only thing I'm missing right now is like some replacement screws, but it's just replacement screws. It's no big deal. So yeah. So here I have the plate, I have the case. I actually have some keycaps. So this, you know, as you can see, this is a Win key layout. And so they had some keycaps ordered. And so we're gonna build in the layout of these keycaps, custom keycap set. Goblin Techkeys. I'm not sure. I assume these are like those custom order sets that kind of like, you know. So we're just gonna build in this like layout, which is like this sort of like pseudo Italian layout, but ANSI. Oops. Whoa. Well, that's great. But yeah. So that's that. So the board is a top and O-ring mount TKL. So it should be a fairly straightforward build. Can you show the bottom, please? Yeah, of course. These are bump-ons that cover the screws. This is a daughter board here, and top mount screws and daughter board screws. And so I can show you the board. So it comes with this plastic because this plastic is covering this polish or mirror polish, I think stainless steel piece with an engraving. So I'll take that off briefly. So it's super reflective, as you can see. So, you know, it has the Eniigma keyboards logo engraved, and then at the bottom it says a phrase that I believe is meaningful to the person who will own this and use it. Consistency, at best, the currency that matters. And then we have these countersunk screws on the side that adhere this base plate to the mid piece, and then there's a mid piece that is adhered to the top piece. That is the side profile. You know, it's a little dirty. I have a microfiber cloth here. You can take GMK trace out of Diego's stream, but you can't take the caps flying around. Yeah. So there's our side profile. And then, unfortunately, whether I hold it one way or the other, it's gonna smudge. So there's no avoiding the smudging and this micro scratching. That's just inevitable part of the process. And dust, and among other things, there's a small engraving that says Pietro, which is essentially the Italian name for a Peter out there. Also means stone or rock, if you didn't know. But I assume this is the name of perhaps the owner. And yeah, so it has a silver anodized aluminum sort of like mid piece, and then we have a Win-Key black top piece. We have some thin bezels on the side, slightly thinner here at the bottom, and then we have a thicker one at the top. And it's a standard Win-Key. Pick keycap gone, yes, because we have keycaps. So pick keycap gone. So reflective, I got anxiety attack at your hand's reflection, thinking that you left the case to fall. Yeah. Alright, I guess that's probably the best way to leave it for now. What's the AKB build? This is an OGR2. We built this last stream. I actually just put a typing test up on the tube. So that should be up. Okay, so I guess first things first is that I had to do a little operation on the PCB where I just had to hardwire the daughter board cable because of JST connector spacing concerns, just to make it nice and uninhibited. Should work. I tested this before. There we go. Okay, cool. So shows up on VIA, Eniigma keyboards EK87. Cool. So it's already on VIA. Very nice. Hope this is a 625U. It is, actually. It is a 625U, in fact. Okay, so, you know, PCB is PCB. I'll just leave it to the side for a second. We got our plate. We got our switches. And we got our stabs. So let's prep some stabs. Soran, you spent most of today 3D printing. What do you 3D print? Today, let's see. I ran errands today. In the morning, so yesterday I just played board games with friends. That was fun. And had some Korean fried chicken, which was amazing. Oh my gosh. Today, we went out to pick up a table. So basically, we recently moved, and so we need to like reorganize stuff. But part of the reorganizing involves downsizing some of our desks, and so we went to pick up a table, for a desk. So that was my morning, and then had some lunch. Prepped some. We had some tostadas. Tostadas are like, I guess like deep fried, like, like tortilla, sort of. Like, that's a tostada. It's like deep fried corn, flat thing. We put some chicken and some veggies, some sour cream, some cabbage and whatnot, some onions, etc. And had some tostadas for lunch. That was pretty yummy. What type of Korean fried chicken? I think we had BBQ chicken. So I think it was, we had like original, so like no sauce, and then we had like soy garlic and spicy, and then on the side I think we got like French fries and roast tteokbokki, which is the spicy rice cakes. That's pretty good. Pretty yummy. Okay, I think I can just leave the plate on the side because I don't really need it. Okay, so TXAP stabs. So I'm gonna go ahead and breaking some of these clips. Just like I did in the last couple of builds. But yeah, the fried chicken was pretty damn good. I feel like I enjoy having no sauce variety and sauce variety. Because I feel like the trend for a lot of this stuff has been like to have very saucy, like, fried chicken or whatever. And I don't know, I just don't feel like I enjoy the chicken as much when it's so saucy. So I've been enjoying like when people get like when we get like original fried chicken. It's pretty good. I love fried chicken. So Pontus, hello, Festus. Oh, Totoro typing test. Oh, it's so warm in here. Codabra, yeah, it's 6 to 5. Does the sauce take away the crisp and crunch? I feel like the batter, like, well, at least like for the good, like the pretty good, like fried chicken spots, it doesn't really take away as much from the crunch and the crisp, to be honest. But it's like, it's still like a little different, right, from not having the sauce at all. And so I prefer, it's nice to have both, so you can enjoy both. Like, you can enjoy the sauce for what it is because it's delicious, and then also the chicken. I'll show you the result of my printing adventure later. Ooh, sounds like a big operation. I used to really like Yangnyeom, but I prefer dry rub batter only. Yeah, batter only. So good. I love. Can you explain why you're doing that with the stabs? Yeah, for sure. So TXAP stabs in particular, this doesn't happen with all stabs, but so actually, an example is to show you a brand new one. So they kind of vary in how they like the clips grip onto the wire here. So you know, this one's kind of like nice and loose. Like, you know, when you like lift it up, it just kind of drops down, right? Like it rotates freely. But this one is a little tight. So like when you lift it up, see how it like stays in place. So the way the wire is being gripped by these clips is like kind of varied. And so by breaking them in and making them all freely rotating, it kind of you kind of make that more consistent and uniform across the whole batch. And so yeah. So that's why I'm unclipping and reclipping the wire, basically, just to make it nice and freely rotating with when it's stock. And when you apply lube, it will also add a little bit of drag. And so as it does, it's also, you know, you know, if you have like varying consistency of that and you add some drag, then it can feel like it's binding a little. So it's just to kind of avoid potential problems. But yeah. And it varies. Like sometimes I've actually encountered cherry stabs with somewhat tighter clips too, but it's a little bit more common in these TXAP just because the TXAP stabs have tighter tolerances overall. So yeah. Yeah, the purpose is to grind the plastic. Yeah, sort of like to just break in the plastic a little bit. Yeah, like to break in this clip a little bit, so that not so it works properly. It does work properly, but it's just so like to prevent potential, like if you like, for example, like because when you lube these stabs as well, it does vary. Like, you know, sometimes you might apply a little bit more like lube or whatever, right? So you essentially kind of like may gummy it up a little bit and like it might make it feel a little bindy. And so it's just to kind of prevent that from accidentally happening, really. But it also, yeah, like by making it freely rotating like this, it's kind of like nice and consistent throughout all the stabs. So it's just to kind of make it all more uniform. Maybe you'll like dipping sauce instead. Oh yeah. So for example, for those of you who know like Korean food, or actually specifically Korean Chinese food, you guys know, like if you go out like to get like Korean, like Chinese inspired Korean food, you'll find like jjajangmyeon, right? Like jjajangmyeon is the one that's like the black bean sauce based noodle dish, right? And typically with that, you'll also get a side dish, or really like a dish to share, called tangsuyuk, which is like this deep fried pork, like in batter, and with like a bunch of veggies and stuff, with like this like sweet and sour sauce. So tangsuyuk, not everybody, it's like, you know, so typically you can do it both, like two ways. You either dip it in the sauce, or you just pour the sauce on top of all the whole dish. I prefer dipping the pork in the sauce rather than pouring the sauce all over, because yeah, after you pour, you know, the sauce is really hot too, and the, you know, it's also sweet, so it's like has all the sugar. Eventually, like that makes the batter feel like so like too soft, and it kind of the texture of that, like, you know, nice and fried batter is gone by the time you like eat it, like especially like later in the meal, right? And so I prefer to dip rather than to pour the sauce on top. I know some people prefer to pour, but I'm a dipper for sauce. Yum, love a dip. Yes, dip is great. Is it generally served spicy for most Koreans? You mean fried chicken? I feel like it's personal preference. Some people just prefer savory, and some people prefer spicy. I feel like Korean people in general, though, do really like spicy food. Just like in general, like I feel like there are a lot of spicier dishes because people generally do enjoy spicy. That said, I feel like not everyone's like that. I do feel like I do know folks, including myself actually. I actually don't have like the highest spice tolerance, but I mean, I'll eat like spicier dishes, but I won't like I won't be going out of my way to get the habanero sauce type of deal. You know, like essentially, I won't go out of my way to get the spicier sauce or like the spicier whatever like dish. So I typically enjoy like normal, medium, like mild to medium spice, but I won't get like hot. It's just too much for me. It kind of drowns out the flavor of the rest of the food. So I personally prefer not to do too spicy, even though like it's somewhat tolerable. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I would say most people will do half and half. I think half and half is probably the most common order. Half savory, half spicy. You know? So yeah. Can't wait for date. When's that? When's that happening? I was talking to what's his name, Frank, Inomushiki from Keep Life organizer. That I wasn't gonna be able to make it out to Keep Life this year, even though I really wanted to, but yeah, just a bunch of other stuff kind of cropped up and just organizing just didn't work out. But yeah. I can handle spicy, but my old ass can't handle it anymore. Do you get like stomach problems? Like do you feel like you have like stomach ache and stuff after? You know, it is actually pretty common for Asian people, or like people who are used to eating like Asian food in general, like especially like Korean food, to have like stomach issues after eating like spicy or salty foods, because or like deep fried, because we get exposed to like so much stuff that's like either spicy or very salty or similar. What, he'll pay for your flight? He will not pay for my flight. Who said that? He didn't say that. But yeah, just like it's just like not the best time for me to go, essentially. I really wanted to try to go to Keep Life this year. It's like the third year, right, for Keep Life? Wait, second? Third Keep Life now? And yeah, I can't make it out. Any point up until the toilet is pretty high tolerance. That is pretty high tolerance, yeah. Mild is the best I can do. Otherwise, instant noodles they sell here are mostly spicy flavored as a must. I got no choice but to power through with a milk bucket. That's fair. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have like super high tolerance. Just very average. Actually, I would call myself not good with spicy food. Period. I just generally do not seek it out. Like, if you give me a choice between spicy and not spicy, I prefer it like on the mild side for sure. But I prefer it like I don't like, for example, one thing I don't like doing is like divorcing spice from a food or a dish that's supposed to be spicy. It's like you're essentially like taking away the essence of the dish by doing that. I'm not like that. I won't be like, oh yeah, give it to me like completely no spice. I'm like, that's a little, it's like insulting to the dish. He'll pay for your flight. Me? 4? 5? What? What do you mean? How much does it cost to fly? I think LA from New York round trip is like $350. I think. And then I'll have to, and then the rest would just be like accommodations, food, transit. Like moving around LA in no car. Laughable at best. Also, I think isn't Keep Life in Pasadena though? So it's kind of far. It's not like LA proper. It's like you have to like drive all the way out to Pasadena. Like literally opposite side from like LAX. If you can guess what I'm thinking about right now, I'll pay for your ticket. Okay, the answer is 69. And orange and pickles. Yes, yes. Wait, you like pickles a lot, Cole? Like, actually, like the food? Pickles are awesome. I love pickles. There's people who hate pickles, dude. I don't get it, but I feel like they're great to have, especially with like a nice, like, oh, like to have it with like a nice and like kind of like greasier side, like sandwich or whatever, or like deli food, and then like and then you have the pickle and it just cuts through the grease. Oh, and it gives you that nice like more pungent like vinegary taste. Ooh, so good. No, yes, I have one Keep Life ticket for you, $23 value. Yeah, yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I mean I wasn't too worried about the Keep Life ticket, but it was really just the timing. But yeah, basically it's just a few personal things and timing wise, like family related essentially, and then couldn't plan around it. Damn right, yummers. Oh hell yeah. That's the way. It's the way to do it. You got me drooling. Hell yeah. Yeah. So at work, at work I spicy food without spices, like fish and chips without fish. Yeah, yeah. That's exactly what it is. You're taking away the soul of the food. At work I go to like a. I guess it's basically like a bodega type of deal, like a, you know, like a deli, like, you know, they have like a, you know, they have a kitchen and they like make like food on the grill and whatever. And I will sometimes get sometimes they have like those like triple decker like chicken cutlet sandwiches, I think, like those like sandwich club type of deals, or they'll have like the, like, you know, like pork quesadilla or like whatever it is, and they'll like give you like a pickle with it. So good. Also, the happens that the guys there who work there are, you know, are obviously like Mexican, right? And one day I was like paying, you know, so it's, you know, I look pretty Asian, right? But I did like, you know, was born and raised in like Mexico, right? So I was like paying, right, like for my food. And one of the cashiers, like, there's like these two cashiers who work there, like these two guys. They go like, "Hey, dude, do you like speak Spanish? Are you like Mexican?" And I was like, "How you know?" I was like, "Oh, you can." They're like, "Oh yeah, like, you know, I saw your name on the card, and also like, you know, the way you pronounce certain words, like for us, you know, like we can hear that shit, you know." And I was like, "Yeah, actually, yeah." I think the two cashiers were betting to see if I was or not. Anyway, so, you know, they find out, and, you know, we just like speak in Spanish, and then like I get a sandwich, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, you know, can I get a pickle?" And he gives me like 3. I'm like, oh, shit, my brother got the hookup. I was like, "Oh hell yeah, oh hell yeah!" The other day, like, got a quesadilla, and, you know, they gave me like, you know, it's included. Like, they give you like sour cream and like a little bit of salsa and like a bag of chips, and then they're like, for me, like, they'll top it with like spicy mayo or like whatever, like the chipotle mayo they have in the back. I was like, "What? I didn't even know this was around. What the heck?" Like, no one even told me. It's like there's a secret menu here, essentially. I was like, "Bro, getting the hook up with the secret menu." I was like, "Yeah, it's a language perk, boys. It's a language perk." Kind of like how Asians can inherently know the ethnicity of other Asians on site. Yeah. It's the same thing. They're like, you pronounce certain words the way. I'm like, is it like quesadilla? I was like wondering. I was like, because I say like quesadilla, right? Because I was like, "Oh, give me a pork quesadilla," right? Oh, maybe it's like, you know, when it's like pork. I don't say like pork like that all the time. Sometimes I say like pork, like, which is very like Spanish English, like Spanglish, because it just comes out like sometimes. It's not all the time. I would argue that I talk to friends or I talk to my partner, and they say like, oh, you don't really have an accent, like you're basically like you sound like a lot of like native speakers. But I mean, I do have a little bit of an accent for sure. I definitely had it when I first like moved to US. And so I guess it sometimes like comes out. And they're like, "Oh, yeah, this guy probably like Mexican." Like definitely something to do with it. And then this guy's name is Diego. It's like, what the fuck? What's up, Frank? Worse. Bye. I think this is the first time I'm seeing a TX staff for a long time. Oh, really? 너 때문에 내가 다이어트 망했어. 왜냐면 널 보면 너무 달콤해서. Ugh. God. Mason. As a general rule, but not a law, if you order a KBBQ in Korean, you get better service or free dessert. Oh, yes. I want free dessert. Oh, yes. Give me that free shike or something. Yo. Actually, though, I mean, it is obviously better if you order in the language that they like natively speak, obviously, right? I don't always do it. There's like times when I'm like, oh, well, I'm just gonna come here once and that's it, right? But the one at work, it's like I go there often. So it's like now I'm like, hey, what's up? ¿Qué onda, banda? Speak to them in Spanish because I know they're all like Mexican, right? At first, I don't want to assume because I know, like, people, it's like you might look Hispanic, but it doesn't necessarily mean like you speak like fluent Spanish or whatever, I don't like assuming. I prefer not to, unless I hear them speaking Spanish and I'm like, oh yeah, you speak Spanish, okay, cool. But yeah, because when I first went, obviously it goes both ways. It's a two-way street, right? Like they see me and they're like, oh, Chinito is an Asian guy. they're like this Chinito. Speak to them in English. Hey, yeah, you getting a pork quesadilla or whatever? This is like going to an Asian restaurant and they're like, Asian customer comes in and they give them chopsticks, dude, and anybody else fork and knife, and that's it. You have to like ask for the chopsticks because otherwise they don't give it to you. They don't give you the free chopsticks, dude. Like especially like you go to like a Thai or like a Vietnamese place and like half that you can see the stash of chopsticks right there in the back, but then when you order and you pick up, they don't give you the chopsticks. You have to ask them. You be like, oh, can I get a pair of chopsticks? It's like, yeah. It's like, I'm like, I want to eat my noodles with chopsticks. Not with a fork and knife and a spoon or whatever. This is like that other time when like I also went to this place and they have like Bangladeshi food, right? And I'm not sure if you know, but like real Bangladeshi like some curry or like some food, it's like so spicy, dude. And my buddy was Bangladeshi, right? He went with me to get food, and he's like I'm gonna order food for us, but like make sure you tell them to not make it normal spicy because you're gonna die. And I was like, yeah. Can you just ask them to do it mild for me, like the mildest they can, and that's still pretty high. So yeah. But it's so good. It's so good though. I'm like dying. It's like super spicy, but it's so delicious. It's so flavory. They don't want their chopsticks to go to waste. I mean, I get it. Like I go to a sometimes I occasionally I go to grab tacos at this place, and they like don't always, because there's a lot of people who pick up get takeout, right? They don't always like offer like napkins, for example, and that's because like they know that people just order takeout to take it home, where they probably have napkins and all that kind of stuff. So I understand. I mean, nowadays with the rising cost of like running the business, it's kind of rough. Everything counts. Bangladeshi food is top tier. Try some Mr. Naga. Okay. Check it out. Show them Fresa Diego. Es que, o sea, wow. Next time you go to the bodega, o sea, ¿me puedes dar un sándwich con cordón bleu, por favor, con pollo y es que esté bien rostizado, bla bla bla, con quesito. Yeah. Gotta show them fresa me, and then they're gonna be, oh, ew, fresa, chilango too. All the slept on Asian food cultures, Thai, Indian, what have you, like their food so spicy it'll fuck your colon. For real. The Indian food is not really slept on. Well, actually, it depends. Depends where you go. I would argue that I definitely know people from certain places who like are like, I've never tried Indian food. I'm like, what? You haven't tried food from one of the like most like culturally significant and largest, you know, most populous countries in the world? Like who like they have like thousands of years of history of like both food and just all types of like cultural things, like, you know, it's like longest history in the world, like one of the, and you haven't tried their food. It's crazy. Because yeah, I mean, I it's there's a lot out there that I personally haven't tried either, but yeah, like, not gonna lie, like when I was a kid, for example, my exposure to Thai, Vietnamese, and Chinese food was actually pretty limited. Well, so Chinese food was kind of depended. Like I feel like I got exposed to like northern Chinese food a lot when I was in Mexico, but then when I came to the States, I got exposed to like southern Chinese food for the first time properly, like, you know, Cantonese and like other things, right? But like I would say like my actual knowledge of the food is pretty limited. Like I can't tell certain things apart, or like I don't know like the origin of some things, or like what's it called, and like things like that, like right off the bat, as I do with like Mexican or like Korean food, or like, you know, whatever else, like some of the Western, like popular Western foods, right? Yeah. Like, for example, like some other food that I've always been like kind of like more curious about is like African food, just like in general, like in like different places and stuff, or like African influence too, kind of like having like Caribbean as well. Can be pretty fun. But yeah, now that I you know, like I recently moved in, so like I'm in an area where it's a bit more diverse with that, you know, basically like, you know, I'm in Queens, and there's just like a lot of different variety that I wasn't exposed to before, and I'm like trying to like try new things more these days. Just fun. It's always fun. Ethiopian food is so fucking good. Oh, what's that? Is that the door? Hold on. I think there's like a mail delivery or something. Give me a sec. Doesn't Creole food have African influence? Yeah, it does. It does. It does. I'm dragging you to Flushing. Shake my head. Popular Indian food is usually Punjabi food. South Indian food is slept on. Oh, I see. South Indian food definitely slept on as a South Indian. I feel like people in America only really know North Indian food. Yeah. I mean, obviously this all has to do with essentially the populations that move and settle and have built like the, you know, hospitality industry in those countries, right? Like, you know, the reason like a lot of Cantonese, like Chinese food is become more popular in the States is because a lot of the original like refugees and immigrants who moved to, you know, to the US and other places were, you know, originally from those regions, right? And so like it definitely has been changing a lot, you know. I would say like in the last like 10 years, like Chinese food, like modern Chinese food, so to speak, as in the way it's seen around in the industry, is completely different from what it was, you know. Like I guess now it's like, you know, you had that big like wave that came in like maybe like 10-15 years ago, like the mala spice type of thing, right? Like that was more recent. But yeah, it all depends on like what kind of populations move to that particular place, right? And like settle and like build this business in this industry. But yeah, learning some of that stuff has been super interesting. Like just like over the years. I try to be like as open as possible to all that. It's always fun to try new food, so yeah. That said, can't call myself an expert. Don't really know too much. I am not that knowledgeable when it comes to it. I'm just open-minded. Szechuan absolutely fucks? Yes. Creole food is insane. Like, it's like African, French, native, and like 2 others. Yeah. Creole food is crazy. Yeah. Roti so good. South Indian curries, like Kerala fish curry especially, are so good. I wish there were better restaurants near me that did them. Oh, yum. Malaysian food got some well, Malaysian food is super interesting, okay? Like, the time I went to Malaysia, I was like, whoa. Because Malaysia, right, is essentially influences from 3 different big cultures, right? They have, like... Oh. One sec. Oh, someone's, like, knocking on the door. Okay, sorry about that. Just someone ringing the bell. Just had to like sign for something. Anyway, so where were we? We're talking about food. Open-minded. Do you live alone? Anyways, I was talking about Malaysian food, right? Like Malaysian culture. But yeah, it's influence. Like there's Malay culture, there's like Indian culture, and there's like Chinese culture, which is super interesting. And then obviously there's like English influence on things, I suppose. But yeah, Malaysia, super cool place, super cool country. When I visited like 10, 11, almost 11 years ago now. 11 years ago, I think. Yeah, 2014, I think that's when I went to Malaysia. Super fun. So good. Every summer when I'm here and I like remember Malaysia, I always crave a good chendol. Oh, so good. So good. So yummy. I don't think I found good ones here in the US. Good chendol. Chendol is like spelled Cendol. It's like this dessert with like these like green like noodle looking thingies, and it's like this kind of like sugary dessert. So good. I don't know if you've ever tried laksa. Oh, of course I have tried laksa. So good. Oh, so yummy. So yummy. I love laksa. Oh, so good. And then there's like Singapore, right? Which has like also like this, you know, kind of like mix of everything too. A good proper Singaporean laksa. Oh, so good. So yummy. What about European food? What's your preference? Italian, Spanish, or French? Oh, that's kind of tough. I mean, like, you know, I feel like French and Italian food are so defining in like Western, like I guess like contemporary, like Western cuisine in terms of influence. I was not as exposed to French as much over the years, but Italian though I was exposed to a lot more. Because I did spend some time learning Italian, like about Italian culture when I was a kid. It was like happenstance, like it was purely coincidental, because when I was living in this like smaller city in Mexico, I had a neighbor on my street who was this Italian, like this old Italian mister. And it's funny, but I really like to go around the neighborhood, like, you know, on my bike. Like this was like when I was like in you know, like late elementary, middle schoolish. And so I really like going around the neighborhood on my bike, and like I would pass by this like this mister's place, and it would smell so good, so good. And one time I like came by to him because he was outside, just like chilling, and I was like, oh, hey mister, like, you know, I pass by here every so often and it smells so damn delicious. Like, yeah, what are you making? Like, what do you like, do you cook often? Like, what's the deal? And he basically was like, oh yeah, like, you know, I'm making like Italian dishes and stuff. And the first time I think he like let me, like, you know, one time like he like let me try the food that he made, and it was like the baked like eggplant dish, like Italian way of doing it, and it was so good. I never knew eggplant could taste that good. That was the moment I was converted in terms of like eggplant tasting good, because I didn't like eggplant as much. You know, I was a kid, you know, I had like kiddie taste, and like I was like not as appreciative of like a lot of different things. I mean, it's like mushroom, you know, you don't like mushroom because of certain ways that people make it, and it just doesn't taste good to you. But then you try different things or different textures, and then you realize how good it is. That was the moment I got converted to eggplant. Eggplant and tomato a little bit more, like both of those things. But it was so fucking good. Anyway, so I got really curious about it was not an eggplant parmigiana. It was different. It was something, it was like more like kind of like hearty. Anyway, I got converted to eggplant then, and I also got really interested in Italian like culture in general, because he was like really into like Italian opera, like classic Italian opera. Turns out that he used to be a teacher. He was like an ex-teacher in Italy, and had moved to Mexico to essentially retire. And he was like, I was thinking of opening like classes for like teaching Italian and like teaching about Italian culture and stuff, and I joined. Because, you know, he was a neighbor, and he was like, oh, you know, he was like, if you talk to your parents and you wanna, you know, do something like that, and or if you're interested, you can always come by, and you know, it's, you know, it'll be like discounted or whatever. And I was like, oh, I'm super interested. And so, you know, I ended up taking like Italian classes essentially. So I have a pretty big bias towards Italian culture and like Italian food and stuff, because I got exposed to all that. But yeah, I was like, yeah. But that said, you know, you learn Italian, and the problem with Italian is one of those languages that unless you speak to Italian people all the time and like often, and you're like really immersed in it, it's so easy to forget, right? Like only Italians speak Italian, really. And so yeah. So yeah. Yeah, I even like took like the Blida B2, which is like the high school, college level Italian, and you know, it's like it was good enough in it, but never ended up really using it because I never ended up really doing anything related to Italian. So there was that. But I do have some friends who like were in my classes, and then so one of them like turned into like an opera singer, like professionally. I was like, what? It's crazy. Super talented. Italian's got that certain tone. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Anyway, I'm I'm going to Sri Lanka, Malaysia, and Singapore in a couple weeks. Can't wait to be stuffing my mouth. Oh, hell yeah. I am jealous. That's gonna be an awesome trip. Also, I guess if you're traveling now, you're kind of... Wouldn't you be avoiding some of the wet season over there too? I mean, it's late August now, so I guess, yeah. You might avoid some of the, like, monsoon timing too. I remember initially my plan to go to Southeast Asia when I went to Malaysia was to go to like other countries like Cambodia and like Vietnam and stuff, and basically I was told monsoon season's on, but Malaysia is not technically monsoon season. It's on the other side of the equator, and I was like, okay, and the flights were like really cheap. It was like I got such a good deal on the flights. It was like $650 round trip back then. It was like crazy, and I was like, yeah. It was like a price mistake, maybe, I don't know, but it was really cheap. I was like, yeah, sign me up, and I just like took this flight and went there for like 3 weeks. It was great. It was great. It was great. Sri Lankan food slaps. If you're planning to visit Ella, go to Mate Hut. Wait a minute. Do I want full touch caps lock or regular? I actually don't remember. I think it was full touch though. Yeah, it's full touch. Okay. The good old natural disaster strategy for getting a cheap holiday. Yeah. Nothing's better than the Jet 2 holiday. Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. Are you wearing some Zeal slip resistant flip-flops for that build? I am not. Zeal slip resistant flip-flops. Nice. Hey, Rob. How are you, my friend? Wow, that's a loud bird. We recently set up a bird feeder, and so there's been like birds flocking around our little like small tiny balcony. Okay. But yeah, it worked out, and I got to visit Malaysia back then. It was awesome. Haven't gone to Southeast Asia or South Asia in a long time now, though. I really wish to go again. Doing good. Just got in from work. I hope your workday was good. Is it hot where you are today? It's like nice and warm today, but not too hot. So pretty nice. Hope everything has been good. Yeah, things are going. Things are going. Yeah, I haven't built with Zeal switches in like a while, eh? I do feel that. Nice try, Dio. Click beta with TKL. This and FRL. The TKL is over here. The TKL is over here. We are building a TKL. The FRL is over here. It's just built already from last stream. But today's build is a TKL, okay? Alright. Let's see these wob-like keycaps. Let's just test the stabs with them. It's easier to test the stabs with the caps that you're intending to use. Looks like these are reverse Dysa PBT cherry profile. Actually, are these recessed? Wow, they are recessed, I think. Nice. Cool. Alright. Diego's from Polanco. I used to live in Polanco. Did I tell you that? I forgot about it. Polanco was nice. Where in Mexico do you live? Well, so city-wise, so I was born in Guadalajara, which is I guess the third. Wait, is it the second or third now? I think it's still third largest city, right? I think second is still Monterrey, or was it the opposite? Either way, I was born in Guadalajara initially. I think yeah. I think yeah. And then I moved around a lot as a kid. I've lived in like a ton of different places. I lived in like Merida, lived in Querétaro, lived in Mexico City, and then for a long time, I lived in Mexico City for a little bit as a kid, and then we moved to León, Guanajuato, center of the country, pretty central in the country, like in the country's geography and like location. So I lived in León, Guanajuato for a long time, which very funnily enough, I was talking to Vijesu, you know, designer of GMK Mictlan and Kurokawa now. And he actually went to the school literally blocks away to the school I went to. Really, really close. And like knew a lot of people that we probably had like mutual friends of some sort if we really dig deep into that. But yeah, the world is it's a small world. Oh my god, all these deliveries are keep getting like doorbell ringing. Anyway, so yeah, so yeah, small world, but yeah, I lived in León, Guanajuato for a long time. And then later I moved back to Mexico City. I did high school in Mexico City. Our favorite cultural appropriator is from León. He lived in León for a while, I think. Yeah. I mean, he lives somewhere else now, but he lived in León for a bit. Yeah. But yeah. The OGR looks great with the FRL layout. So tempted to join before the GBNs. Really don't have to spare cash though. Dude, I think don't ever overdo it, right? If you really want it and you can afford it, you can pull the trigger. But I know you, Rob, and you have a lot of keyboards, so you don't need it. You don't need it. I mean, everything is a luxury anyway, but this is such a luxury hobby. Just to swap keyboards when I'm bored. I'm just citing a popular phrase. If you know, you know. Delivery was the screws, by the way. Oh, it probably is. I could go get him. Yeah. The earlier it was something else, but I think that one just now might have been the screws. The UPS package. Still feel like I maybe either might have under lubed this a little, so I'll add a little more. Okay. Okay. I think that should be good. What are those keycaps? These are like, it's like a custom order keycaps. Like it's like pseudo ANSI and Italian layout. Wob, sort of. I think like it's one of those like custom dice up order people. Forget what menu was the one that did that. But there's a few of those places that do like those custom dice up orders. It's not one of those. This one is called Goblin Techkeys, but I'm assuming they use a certain manufacturer that does these orders. Okay. Sounds good now. Okay. Yeah, here, like I have the box. So it says Goblin Techkeys, and it's like one of those custom reverse die sub WAP caps because they wanted to have an ANSI Italian layout set of caps for it. I'm in this hobby because I can earn from it. If the earnings dry up, I'm selling everything. This is such a luxury level hobby to just swap keyboards when I'm bored. Yes, right. Right. Exactly. Truer words have not been spoken. There's a huge Asian community in Leon. Visited there a couple of years ago. It was shocking. Yeah, Leon's Asian community has grown. When I moved, there were barely any. Okay, like I could tell you when I went to elementary school in Leon, I was like, me and my brothers were like the only Asian people in like the 10-kilometer radius, dude. I could swear. I was the Chino. You know? Like if when people talked about it, you know? Yeah, it was not many when I lived there. This was like back in like, you know, early 2000s. So yeah, it was like that before, but I'm sure now it's a lot bigger because Leon, you know, for those of you who, you know, don't know much about it, Leon is this big industrial city in the middle of Mexico. It's like the 5th largest city in Mexico. It has like, you know, it's like now the population is like 1.5 million. I don't know. Back in the day, it was like 1 million and some. Pretty big city, you know, big city. Tremendous big inner city. Anyway, so Leon, industrial city, but known for its leather and shoes. So there's a big shoe industry there. There's a big like manufacturing industry there, and so it attracts a lot of people in, you know, in like commercial fields, right? So a lot of new business come in there. Also, there's like a lot of like factories for other stuff too. So it will attract a lot of essentially like engineers and a lot of potential for like tech developments and things like that. So it's developed to be like quite the industrial like center for things in that part of Mexico. And so I'm sure the Asian population has probably grown quite a lot since then, because of all the potential. Heck, my family calls me Chino because my eyes look slightly Asian. Yeah. Everyone's a güero and a Chino. You don't have to be like blonde or whatever at all, and you'll still be güero. Just one of those like things, like they call you that word, regardless, even if it's slightly close. Sergio Agüero, no, not that one, but you know what I mean. Güero means. Yeah, I know the soccer player Sergio Agüero. But yeah. But yeah, if you ever go to any place with a lot of Mexicans, I feel like there's always gonna be like tacos el gordo, tacos el güero. you know, and then you're gonna have all the last names, like or like I don't know, something like that, like Taqueria Ramirez and like things like that. But common. Tacos El Chino too. Now, yeah, that's true. Because chino, it can also mean like curly hair. Like tienes el pelo chinito, it's like curly hair. Anyway, yeah. Fond memories of Mexico. Although, you know, to be fair, I also got into a lot of fights back when I was a kid for being Asian looking. Because it just rolls like that, you know. The punches have to roll somehow. So yeah, I did get bullied and stuff, but I also fought back, and so I would get into fights when I was a kid. It just do be like that. How much Italian do you feel in New York? Like how like do I feel like there's a lot of Italian presence in New York? I would say there's a big Italian immigrant presence in New York in the sense that like there's a lot of old, more established immigrant families that, you know, like came a long time ago and like have settled here, or have multi-generational whatever, right? As far as like you know, maybe more recent immigration from Italy like to here in New York, I mean, maybe I have like slight overrepresentation bias around me. Like I have both coworkers as well as like people that I personally know who are Italian and like recently immigrated from Italy, right? Like recently moved from Italy for work and other reasons, but they still like regularly go back to Italy and they speak to Italy like Italian to like all their friends and stuff and whatnot, and they're like, you know, just like all the things that they believe in, they like sort of talk about and whatnot. It's like in the frame of reference of being Italian and like just like Italian, like I guess like mannerisms and whatnot. But I would say like it's not nearly that apparent. I'll say like in the general city vibe, I feel like you'll feel that a little bit more when you go to certain neighborhoods where there's like more of that like OG New York Italian representation. But I wouldn't say it's like predominant or anything like that. I would not say that's the case really anymore, or rather, like generally speaking, like it's like New York is really truly just a mix of everything. And yeah, it does vary depending on where you are, like what neighborhoods and like who you hang out with and that kind of stuff. So, yeah. So yeah, I would say it's not like oh yeah, super strong Italian presence in New York, you know, like oof. I would say it just depends who you are with and where you are. Mostly like certain parts of Brooklyn, like hella Italian, you know. Certain parts, like obviously, like if you're hanging out in like certain parts of Manhattan, same thing. Yeah, like it's more overrepresented in certain neighborhoods, but I would not say it's like truly everywhere. And it's like, oh yeah, Italians in New York super overrepresented. It really is like a melting pot. That said, I do not know the statistics. I actually don't know the statistics for how the city is ethnically comprised. So I'm not sure. I can't validate that. Just making sure that the clips, that the switch is clip onto the blade properly. Just pressing it down a little bit. Anyway, Elquan, hello. How's it going? Did I miss anything? I don't think so. Okay, cool. Alright, we're almost done putting the switches in, and then we gotta solder them up. Classic 87 key layout, TKL layout, like super standard 625U and everything else. We have enough switches here, right? Okay, there's like 90. So yeah, when it comes to like cultural stuff, it's definitely interesting. I've had like shifts over the years. Like when I first came to the U.S., so I moved to Connecticut when I first moved to U.S. from Mexico. I moved to Connecticut for college, and there, you know, I came from Mexico, so I like was kind of seeking out like to see what, you know, what kind of groups I belong to, and like belong with, and like, you know, like who I like would hang out with and stuff. And I try to like kind of like diversify and like really just step out of my comfort zones too. And I would say like in college I had a more significant experience sort of like finding myself amongst Asian Americans, primarily because also like I guess it was also like a small college town, so I didn't find as much of like my Mexican like immigrant sort of like persona, so to speak, in the things that I would see like related to like Hispanic or Latinx culture in school. And so I found myself more identified with the Asian American side of me, like Asian American side of me, and so I kind of explored that a lot, like on kind of like many ways, like culturally, like learning about Asian American history and sort of like social justice and like causes and things like that. And then I'll say it was after, and then I moved to New York, and I sort of found my like Mexican side again because there's like a bigger representation now here. And also I lived in a neighborhood that was very widely like Latino Hispanic representation wise, like it was much bigger. I was in Washington Heights, which is all the way up in Manhattan, for many years, and there I found myself kind of like identifying more with like my like Hispanic side. And so yeah, I kind of explored different aspects of like I guess my upbringing and my culture over the years. And now it's like, yeah, now it's kind of like a mix. It's like I identify with both, right? And so always find myself thinking that it's like the best way to sort of reconcile your like as your like what you identify with is to just kind of take the best of what you can get from each of things and respect both, you know. But ultimately it's kind of like your identity is like a nice conglomeration of all of these things. That OGR looks so good. Yeah, the Dolce colorway. The group I ends pretty soon. I think it ends tomorrow. I still have to like edit photos and stuff, but yeah. I posted the typing sound video because I figured people would want to check that out sooner than later. So I recorded that and just posted it earlier. But yeah, it does look pretty nice. Alright. Let's get this soldered up. So okay, let's turn on this fan. Sorry for the noise. Let's solder it up. No way I'm seeing teal switches in 2025. The feels, yeah. This build is a little bit of a like blast from the past in a way, because I know that I think Eniigma is in the chat, but you know, he can say that himself, but he also hasn't been in the scene for a bit, right? So this commission kind of came about somewhat you know, serendipitously. Like, both to ourselves, like me and Eniigma, in terms of like getting in touch, as well as just the build itself. Has a bit of that nostalgic touch. It's a client build, yeah. It's not mine, and it's not like a review board or anything. Like, it's not like I'm not showcasing a board for like a brand or anything. Eniigma is not really doing anything project wise. It's just like a commission that was brought to him, and I believe the build was originally, yeah, I was saying at the beginning of the stream, but the build was originally going to be done by Alex Otos, but essentially the whole customs tariff situation kind of made it complicated, and so they approached me to do the build for them, and so here we are. But yeah. It's a top mount / O-ring TKL, kind of, you know, standard F12. In this case, it's a wind key case. And this is also not the first time this happens. Like, sometimes I'll be reached out by like people who are located like either internationally or sometimes in Canada, and I'll tell them like, oh, you know, if you want to have a build done by Alex, like he's located in, you know, he's in Toronto, right? And so I've referred like Canadian, I guess, clients to Alex, and sometimes Alex will also tell people like, oh, you're in the US, and if you want to ship to New York, Diego does builds over there. So not the first time I've heard that, like, oh, they like reached out to Alex first and then they reached out to me, or like Alex told them, or I told them to reach out to Alex, and things like that. We try to like support each other's work in terms of like reaching out to one another for getting people's keyboards built. it's good. Also avoid having keyboards being drilled through. Oh, you mean by like customs agents? Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's crazy. Like having, yeah, that's insane. I mean, yeah, I swear to God, some people's luck with custom stuff is insanely bad. Like what they are capable of doing with no regard whatsoever to people's property is truly abhorrent. Not nice. Not nice. They almost destroyed the board when we requested it be returned back to sender. That would have been bad. That's insane. Like, all it takes is the crazy part is this, you know. So you know how like when you send boards internationally, like ever or any mail for what it's worth, you always have a phone number or an email associated to every single parcel. Literally takes 5 minutes to reach out to sender or destination, like recipient, to be like, hey, we have this under our custody, and you know, what's the next step? I mean, obviously they're super overwhelmed. I mean, customs is no joke now, especially with obviously the whole like getting stopped for tariffs assessment, like import fees and duties. But like, yeah, like, what's the point to have contact info if they'll just be like, oh, it's at our discretion and we're just gonna destroy it? It's crazy. It's crazy. People do crazy things. Ooh, I actually really like how this PCB solders. It's like, the pads are not too big, not too small, but the flow for the solder is like fast and clean. Some of these PCBs I've tried, not these ones specifically, but like there's some PCBs that have like either really large pads or really small ones, and the solder doesn't flow as well. But this one's pretty nice. This solder mask here is, and the joints here, the pads are like nicely sized. Joints form nicely. I like this color too for the PCB. Okay, all done, I think. Let me just double check my solder joints here. Okay, I think it's done soldering wise. Lick my board, send them over. I'll lick them. Not for free. Just for you. Just kidding. Just kidding. Don't do that. Don't send it to me. Just for that. Species were ordering the huge microchip shortage, so they're by far the most expensive ones we ever made. Oh, that's unlucky. Yeah, there was a time these. But if this is a microchip shortage time, this must be an Atmel. Yeah, it's ATM32 U4s. Yeah, there's a time they're super expensive. A lot of people switched to STM32s, and eventually people switched to RPi chips because of that. But it's kind of back to pretty okay prices. Although I guess STM32 is pretty popular now. Like there's some pretty well established STM32 microchip community now for like keyword stuff. So it's like, yeah, it's like kind of more standard now. Okay, all right. Soldering looks good. Let's just make sure to test. Are the switches modded? These are just, I didn't do the lubing, but I think Alex did. And these are just lightly lubed with 2.5, I think. I think that's right. These are just lightly lubed with 2.5, I think. Okay, everything's good. OGR or a 7V? Personally, OGR. I like the aesthetic of the OGR a lot. Yeah. I also think it feels pretty nice. That said, 7B did feel pretty nice when I built 7Bs a long time ago. I haven't built a 7B in a hot minute. But 7Bs are nice boards. But I personally like the layout of the OGR more. The aesthetics wise, it's very subjective. It kind of depends on you. How you feel about that specifically. Okay, I'm gonna be right back. I need to pick up that package. Need to get those extra screws. They're just replacement screws. There's like placeholder screws here for the base, but I'll be right back. Okay. I always lick my brass wafer patina. Oh, custom patina. We should make that a service. See how many people sign up. Okay, PRB. Alright, I'm back. I got the screws over here from MacMaster. I think they're the right ones. Yeah, these look right. Okay. Alright, coolio. Coolio. Let's wrap up the rest here. So time to open up the board and put our plate assembly in. Let's see here. So I have two O-rings. I think I heard they wanted O-ring mount. There's this one. There's this one. Let's see. This one's stiffer, blue. Can do this one here. That's what they wanted. O-ring mount. Oh. Okay. All right. A very reflective keyboard. And let us do these screws here. Okay. So it comes off the base plate. So sorry. All right. All right. And then we got some screws here. Oh wait, they're smaller. These are smaller. Oh, you do custom keyboards. That's cool. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Put a hex key in the foam if you need it. I should be good. I should be good. What's the best switches? Pretty subjective, but if you're asking what I like the most, I personally like nicely modded Cherry MX blacks or Cherry MX browns a lot in general. Otherwise, I really like Gateron switches in general. I personally recommend, if you want a standard, I would say Gat Yellow Milky Top. Really good, pretty solid. Can't really argue against it. I think it's just good, nice and solid. Otherwise, if you want, like, if you're into those like really loud and clackier switches, people recommend HMX switches and BZPs and things like that. But I personally prefer a more like a slightly quieter and just like kind of middle range switch. So I tend to prefer Cherry and Gateron switches a lot more, but that's personal preference at the end of the day. Is it PVD? It's polished stainless steel. It's polished stainless steel. Okay, so let's do O-ring mount as they wanted. Thoughts on clears versus browns? Personally, I prefer MX Browns because I prefer the lighter tactility and just the sound of them. That said, clears are nice if you do want that more medium tactility. Also, I feel like clears tend to have a it's like a more emphasized sound to them because of the tactility being more pronounced. Yeah, so it kind of depends on what you want for like volume, and also just kind of like the tactility does make a difference in how they sound. Some people actually don't like how clears sound because they tend to say that it kind of like it emphasizes some of that like leaf, like switch leaf like noise, and like it also feels kind of like more, I don't know what the right word is. like I mean, I guess like people say like scratchy, but it's like, yeah, tactility is essentially a degree of scratchiness because it needs that friction to like, you know, like for the tactile bump. So some people don't like clears as much for that reason, but like there's like a bad reputation for MX Browns because people use them when they're stock. But when they're stock, like, yeah, naturally they're gonna be pretty scratchy. Like Cherry MX switches in general are pretty scratchy when stock. So yeah, but properly modded ones, I feel like pretty nice. I prefer MX Browns to clears personally, but yeah, it's ultimately just personal preference. Like clears have been pretty nice though. Like recently I did MX Purples, I think, build on that Lotus 80 board from Fox Lab, and that turned out really nicely with MX Clears or MX Purples, same thing. So yeah, it kind of depends. You just have to try it out, I feel. Okay, what's the best way to do it? Maybe I'll just put this down like here, and then I'll put the daughter board first, and then I'll do the rest. MX Blue enjoyer here. MX Blue's click is kind of thin, right? So some people don't love them. Like the click jacket is just kind of like thin sounding, but yeah, I mean, everyone's different. Do people even remember MX Greens, the heavier version of the blues? I remember there was a guy who really liked MX Greens back in the day. Okay. Okay. Brown stock isn't even bad, except the spring. Yes, if you're doing a Cherry MX switch, always swap the springs. In my opinion, they're not good. They're just like too much inconsistency between springs in the badge, and also just kind of like noisy, just not very like pleasant. I remember the first time going from a cheap membrane to a good mechanical, the K70 Lux RGB, I think it was. It made typing pleasurable. Yeah, that's good. But yeah. Alright, so this has like a mid piece. It's kind of it has a mid piece and a base plate that just kind of covers the bottom. So construction wise, it's fairly simple. Kind of reminiscent a little bit of like a Keycaps number 2, let's say, but Keycaps number 2 has screws. The design has screws that go through the piece into the bottom, and this one just uses these small screws on the sides. I remember people paying $4 to switch from West Germany NOS vintage blocks. It's all at the end of the day subjective, and even if they're West German and new old stock, it might be pretty comparable to a brand new MX2A or whatever, you know. Yeah, I feel like now I can't, after MX2A and like Hyperglides even, I can't in good faith recommend someone to be like, oh yeah, go get your vintage MX blocks, because vintage and broken in and or like in good shape and different plastic, whatever, It's just all, I mean, it's kind of snake oily. They might be good, but there's a chance it could be bad, you know? There's a chance it could just not be that good, or as good as you expect. So, yeah, don't get too caught up in it. They are different from, yeah, they are different from Hyperglides and MX2As, for sure. But do you, like, is like the in good faith, can you recommend to someone to pay the premium? Like, from paying 35 cents for a Switch versus paying dollars for a Switch, and then you have to, you know, source as many as you need. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's really the cost and benefit argument, right? It's all very, very subjective. Some people really want that, and so they'll go get it. Some people are like, I gotta harvest my own Switches from a vintage board, you know? And that's, you know, the extra step, right? And not to mention harvesting itself also has its implications, but, you know, it's just... Do you get the OG Nixie cost hype? Are they unrecreatable with the current Nixie production? I mean, I'm sure they can be produced in the same way, but is Cherry doing it? No. Like, clearly the tops have different, like, they feel like look different even. But I mean, like, the stems and the rest of the housing, you know, kind of similar, sure. I don't know, though. I don't know. Like, someone needs to be very scientific about this to really say, like, oh, am I recreating this Switch? The Nixies versus the current Nixies, you know, the original versus current kind of thing. It's a very, I feel like it's just kind of up in the air. And I personally doubt that we'll ever see perfect recreations, because no one's, it's not a passion project for Cherry to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna recreate the exact same Switch because it's historically relevant to us. I don't think that's ever gonna happen. No one's ever gonna be interested in doing that on a corporation and business level, you know. So that won't happen ever, I would say. But yeah, it's mostly collector's value and like clout and bragging rights, you know. So, especially since break-in machines have become common. Yeah, there's break-in machines too. There's also the whole breaking in, diamond polish, yada yada yada. I use a special polishing compound. And I did this for a certain time and this way and like this orientation, and accounts for the variability and the axis, yada yada. There's all that stuff too now. So it's like, yeah, it's all very, very subjective. Yeah, it's hard to recommend this in good faith. Hard to recommend anybody to like spend a ton of money on Switches, because there's just cheaper ones that are pretty good. This is so shiny. Okay. Where's the bump-ons that I just had? Oh, right here. Okay. Thanks for all the good takes. Sounds like that's what drives most of this hobby. I mean, yeah. There's always subsets in the hobby. There's subsets of people who are interested in collecting. That's valid, totally valid. Every hobby will have collectors who will want it because it has prestige and the value of like being a certain age, you know, old, rare, like one-off, whatever, bragging rights. I'm one of the only 10 people in the world who has this. Bragging rights, for sure. Always, always, always. Oh, who's this? Upas. Hello. How's it going, dude? What were you doing? You're streaming today? It's a Saturday. I hope you're enjoying your weekend. I just built a Soleil. Oh, cool. That's the solar power one. Nice. How did it go? Everything work as expected? You'll get to build it later too? Oh, that's news to me. Thanks. We're streaming the Soleil. Nice, nice. Did it generate electricity? Oh, very cool, very cool. We showed it on stream? Okay, okay. I better be having like lightning bolts come out of my like hands like I'm fucking like Storm or something. Or like Raiden from Mortal Kombat. No lightning bolts. Unfortunately, my electronics are safe. Ah, damn it. Damn it. How dare you? How dare you try safety? Ooh, pretty flexy. Okay, cool. So let's put that away. Let's put this here. All right, let's put these keycaps. This boring feels a little tight on this. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Generate a black flash like Yuji Itadori, my brother, my friendo. Weaves out. Wait, did I drop a keycap? No, no. Alright, we got these custom made caps from Goblin Techkeys. Still not sure who manufactures these. It's one of those custom dye sub ones that you probably can find on like, you can probably like look into it from maybe AliExpress or some other places, but they probably use one of those. And it has an Italian ANSI layout. It's probably Creative. Oh yeah? Oh, okay. Cool. Creative. Cool, 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 cool. Oh, I should have tested the board after I put the case together. Just to make sure. Okay, I think that's... Oh, whoops. Cable's like kind of stretched out. Okay, everything's good. Okay, cool. I remember my Italian ISO NMB Space Invader. Ooh, pretty cool. I'm just guessing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. No idea myself, so. You know, it's like reverse dye sub, so it's like black, right? But because it's like dye, it almost has like a dark bluish tint. It's like very, very close to black. It's like a very, very dark. It's like dark gray, almost bluish in certain like angles. Like a very dark navy almost. I hope I did the bottom row mods right. Is this right? Huh, interesting. Oh, instead of right control, they put these they put this key. I guess they chose to do that on purpose. Because when you do the conversion from ISO to ANSI, I'm sure there's a key or two that you have to give up. Maybe, I don't know. They just want it on the base layer. Where is the pasta button? Carbonara. Here's my pancetta. I'm sure there is better pasta in real life. Alright, there's the caps. And I guess I can put these rust later. We can do the classic lightning build, and we can put some artisans on this because it's always fun to do it. So I'll put some on. Maybe I'll do this guy, this leech. And then I'll do some. There's a rubber hose cap. Maybe I'll do. This is perfect. El Padrino. That'll be good. And maybe I'll put the Soon cap over here. This spacebar feels a little sticky. Maybe it's because it's like the PBT. Oh, I see. The stab is like loose. Let me just make sure. Okay. Yeah, the spacebar is feeling a little sticky. Give me a sec. I thought I felt it was sticky, but I wasn't sure. The keycap just got a little tight on it. Oh, okay, that's better. Okay, all right. So So let's put this OGR aside for 1 sec. Oh my gosh, this cable is like running all over the place. Now you need a horse head artisan? I think there was an artisan maker back in the day that had a horse head sculpt. I forget which one it was. What's that leech called? This is the one from the... It's from the... I think this is the one from the full... No, wait. Is this the one? This is the... Forget. I'll tell you the colorway name later, Melee. It was the one... It was the one that It's like the one that's like black, white, and red with the red eye. It's like dark red. I think it's a... Yeah, I'll let you know later though. I forget what exactly it was called, the colorway name, but it's on the catalog. I'm pretty sure. It was from one of the sales. No. The fulfillment wise, I think was or maybe it is the fulfillment one. But I thought the fulfillment ones were all black and white only. This one has like a dark red eye, I think. It was a non-bloody version, whatever of it. Yeah. All right, let's try this out. Okay. Keycap archivist for the artisan database page. You can probably look it up on Keycap archivist. Yeah. Let's see. Boom. There it is. Okay. All right. Let me set this up. It might be Night Bloom if it's got sparkles. The black does have slight sparkles, yeah. The rest of it doesn't. There's a bunch of nice ones though, yeah. There's like that sacrifice one or something like that. That was pretty good too. Yeah. Okay. Let's try it out. So let's see. Let us see. Okay. So here we are at the end of this build. This is an Eniigma keyboards design. It has no name. It has an engraving here that says Pietro, and it has a polished stainless steel bottom base plate. Everything else is aluminum plate. Kind of similar to Jane V2 mount for the plate. So 7-point top mount and or O-ring mount. Right now we have, I think, a 40A O-ring, pretty soft. Yeah, this is currently built with Turquoise Tealios, switch that certainly we haven't seen for a hot minute. Turquoise Tealios on an alu plate, just looped with 205, I believe. And this is built on the alu plate and no foam of any sorts. And we got these like custom keycaps from Goblin Techkeys. No Totoro. Oh, I forgot. Sorry. I'll call my neighbor for the typing sound test. BRB. So my neighbor is unavailable because they can't find their party outfit. So I will have to apologize on behalf of my neighbor because their party outfit is at the laundromat or dry cleaners or something. Yeah. Yeah, basically bottom line is yeah, it's the party outfit is a one-off outfit just like the keyboard, and it's not to be found at the moment. Ain't no way. Yeah. I swear. We did a big reorg, and so I couldn't find it. Basically. Sorry. Okay. Next time, I'll give you back your points though. Gam. Quote unquote couldn't find it. Correct. Oh, wait, what? What are you talking about? Yeah, they couldn't find it in their you know, regular walk-in closet thing. Yeah, I don't even have walk-in closets. Anyway, yeah. Sorry. Actually. Okay. Tell them to wear their birthday suit. Always a party? Yes, they should always be wearing it, right? I know, that's what I tell them, but they just didn't listen. But they're like, you know, they're like, the one time I decided to wash my clothes, blah blah. Yeah. Too bad. Alright, folks. Alright, so we got Turquoise Tealios once again on full alu plate, 48 O-ring mount. And let's try it out. See how it sounds with these keycaps as well. Alright, here we go. These are PBT dice up, pretty sure. Yeah. Pretty nice. Sounds good, right? I think it sounds nice. Alright, let's go through the mods. Here are the mods. And there it is. So, I guess a few kind of comments about the board specifically. It has a decent amount of give, especially the O-ring is on the softer side, so it has a pretty comfortable typing feel. It is just O-ring mount, and it has a decent amount of give to it because of the softer O-ring too. Tealios, pretty standard. They feel like Tealios has always felt. Not much different. I do hear a little bit, this is just on the switches side, Personally, I would say I would probably, personally, I would have maybe like used some of the thin switch films, like the TX switch film, like the really thin ones. And I think that would have kind of made it a little bit more rounded sound-wise. But otherwise, you know, they sound pretty good. And I'm actually not sure. Maybe top mount on this could also sound pretty different. But I do like the sound of O-ring on this, like, and the feel of O-ring on this in particular. So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it kind of feels like most of the like 7-point mount, you know, O-ring slash top mount TKLs, pretty similar. So I can't really comment that it's gonna feel that much different from X, Y, or Z JNV2 mount board out there. But yeah, the build itself is like Tealios on Alu is definitely like a big throwback though. It's like I haven't done a Tealio build in so long, so kind of interesting to use Zeal switches for the first time in a long time. Do you prefer F12 or F13 layout TKL? I personally prefer F12. I like the spacing better on F12 TKLs, the top row spacing. I feel like F13 feels a little crowded. It's nice to see the even spacing, but it's a little crowded feeling to me. Specifically because F13 does not really add much functionally to me. Like the extra key to me is like whatever. So it's like the at no expense essentially. Like F13 essentially doesn't really add much to me. So it's like F12 I think looks better, so I just prefer F12. I mean, I'm just used to it too, F12. Like a standard TKL. I don't know what to map F13 with TBH. Yeah, so on TKL for me myself, right? So I never use the scroll lock key personally. I never use it. Like there's no reason for me to use scroll lock. So I actually always map my scroll lock. Actually ends up being my FN key usually on like win keyless TKLs. So usually I have scroll FN here. If there's an F13, I'll map the F13 itself to be the FN key. But essentially, you know, these except for print screen, like pause and scroll lock don't really do much. So either it can be my FN key and it's fine. And also in that TKL, I'm not switching layers that often. Like maybe I use it for media and similar things. So I personally don't have strong opinions about what to map it to. But yeah, use usually FN or something like a layer key. Doesn't do much. But yeah, you can use F13. Yeah, so what you can do is use F13 as F13 and then map F13 to things, shortcuts that you would otherwise not be able to use on programs and things like that. Like people do this for like F13 through F24 or whatever, right? That's another way of using like FRO stuff creatively, is to map it to functions that you otherwise would never have mapped on your settings. Glorified mute button, yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. Soren is pretty much right on the money about this. Glorified mute button, glorified deafen, on Discord or whatever. Push to talk, I don't care, you know, whatever it is. Yeah, you know, could be anything. So yeah, I mean, when you have a board as large as a TKL, you just kind of don't have too much more to do past the base layer. Yeah, so you can get creative with it. Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, so that's the board here. Let's show you the board itself. So, you know, put music here. Move this away for a sec. So, you know, that's what the board looks like, kind of bare, like without anything on the screen here, just if you wanted to kind of give the full look. Has these PBT keycaps with the Italian layout, looks nice. And yeah, we'll unplug it. Maybe I'll switch it to the overhead view here. The real problem is 625U yucky. I don't think 625U is too bad. I mean, sure, if you're used to 7U win keyless, like I prefer 7U win keyless over 625. but if it's WinKey, 625 actually looks not bad, in my opinion. I would probably switch this to a step caps lock myself. That's just a personal choice. Step caps lock is my favorite key here. It looks nice, but you know, it's, you know, whatever. Okay, so I do have a polished stainless steel bottom here, so it's kind of, you know, iffy to lift up and not smudge it all over. I try not to, but it's gonna be impossible to not. So I'll lift it up from this side. I'm gonna wipe it a little bit. I mean, keyless 10U, yeah, right. So there is your side profile. So it has I don't know, Eniigma, if you want to comment about the design, you can. But that's the side profile. Kind of has this like softer taper going on. It kind of, the side kind of is reminiscent a little bit of that like 7V side. I mean, where like the weight is sort of like hugging this like back part, right? 7V is a little different, by the way. But and we have a polished steel back plate that kind of goes around the entire thing. And so there's some inspiration from 7V. Number 2, yeah. The number 2 has, you know, nav cluster, USB-C over here, this like back plate that kind of hugs the whole board from the like on the back side, and it goes all the way down to the front. And then yeah, the vertical also has like some of these softer curves, right? The vertical, I think, is the 65%. I think I'm not mistaken about that. So yeah, we have that kind of like clean back with the big back plate in the down here, and again, maybe that one I can lift it from the front. And we have a very, very shiny bottom and my very bare ceiling, as you can see, with messy cable work. And if you want to look at the here, the engraving, it says, it has the Eniigma keyboards logo, and then it says consistency at best, the currency that matters. Just a phrase that resonates with the to-be owner of this board. We have 2 big bump-ons just lining on the side. More atypical to see 2 bump-ons like this lining the sides. Usually you'll see like the button style or like the circular style bump-ons lining the corners or anything like that. But this kind of keeps the bottom base plate nice and clean. And yeah, so this is a like a one-off commission for an acquaintance or someone that Eniigma knows, I assume. Eniigma just reached out to me to do the build process for them, and so I was not, I did not participate in the design or any aspect with regards to the board itself, but it turned out quite nice. Sounds good. Yeah, I think these PVT caps, the PVT caps actually work kind of nice with the Tealios, right? Yeah. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty nice. So, yeah, there you have it. And yeah, sorry about the my neighbor couldn't find a party outfit. Anyway, yeah. And you can compare it size-wise. Obviously, we have a chonky one here. That's the OGR here from HKB. And the OGR is a whole chonker of a board. From the top view, you can see, boom, humongous. So, and then yeah, for the keycaps here, for these custom Goblin Techkeys keycaps, we have this sort of like, see, as I said, it has like a dark bluish hue to the keycaps. They're not like fully black like pitch black. It has like a dark blue sort of tint to it. But yeah, this Italian layout. It doesn't have like Italian like legends in Italian, but it has the legend, the legends for Italian layout, like from the pipe to the punctuation marks and stuff. The chonkiness of the OGR2 is kind of its design aesthetic. Oh, for sure. It's awesome. Have you built the Kaze Mini? I have not. I do not think I am going to be building the Kaze Mini. because I certainly didn't have LOL's Thax reached out to me. But maybe you guys can tell LOL's Ryan to send a unit over for me to build. But just kidding. I mean, if he wants to, he will reach out. But yeah, Alex built a Kaze Mini, so you can check out Alex's content for the Kaze Mini. And I believe there was like an FNF sort of round that people built also. So there's like people who own the proto round board, FNF peoples. You can also maybe ask. But yeah, I don't think I will be building the Kaze Mini as far as I'm aware. So sorry about that. Okay, I guess I suppose that is basically all I got for this build for today. So I suppose we can wrap it up. I don't know if there is anybody streaming at this time because it is a random Saturday afternoon and not too many people are doing keyboard stuff. Oh, I see B Aaron K doing a build for a friend. We can go shoot a raid over there. But other than that, I don't think I see other folks. So we can shoot a raid over there. B Aaron K. But alright folks, I guess that's all I got for tonight, for this afternoon. But I hope y'all enjoyed it. This was this unnamed one-off board from Eniigma with a steel base plate and a little engraving here that says Pietro. Very nice. And yeah. Love the occasional Saturday streams. Oh, okay. I'll try to schedule one every so often when I can. Obviously, weekends I try to reserve to also spend time with friends of AM. But, you know, I do enjoy building on the weekends too. But I do typically schedule my stuff on the weekdays just because it's like post-work and it's just a little easier for me. To not take up the weekend fully either. But, yeah. I did sign up for a tennis class tomorrow at the park, so wish me luck. It's like gonna be my first time playing tennis in like I don't even know, 20 years. So yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah. All right. Well, have a good rest of your weekend, everyone. Take care. I will see you next stream. They will likely be this coming during the week, most likely. I think it's going to be the. Hold up. I actually can check. It's whichever is sooner in terms of when it ends. I think it's going to be the Tofu TKL, but it might be the Neo 65 Core Plus. It's one of those two, but. One of the boards that I need to still check out. And then later in September, in early September most likely, I'm going to be building a board by the Bloody Easy called ETAR 87. It's like a QFRL. It used to be called QFRL 100, but it was renamed to ETAR 87, the Bloody Easy. And then there should be some other boards coming up, which I'll let you know more about. All right, folks. Let's wrap it up here. B Aaron K, let's shoot a raid over there. I don't think I've raided them before. Try a pickleball down the line. Yes, everyone in New York plays pickleball. Everyone plays pickleball these days. Haven't tried it yet, but it will be fun. All right, folks. I'm trying to get into handball. Oh, Kiwi's here, but he's so needy. Oh, hold on. If you guys wanna see Kiwi briefly? Hold on. I'll get him. Oh no, he doesn't like being handed. Just move down. Kiwi. Alright, friends. Goodbye. Kiwi. Show face. Hi. Oh, it's too bright. Too bright. I want to go. Alright. Goodbye, friends. Say bye, Kiwi. Bye-bye. Oh, he wants to bite me. Spicy boy. Okay, friends. See you later. Take care. Have a good rest of your weekend. And it's time to eat dinner for Kiwi. Okay, bye.